So look, we aren't taking sides in this EV versus conventional two-wheeler war. Obviously, it's a very interesting debate. We're watching the, what is it called? I think it's called Bytes versus Oats, right? As a famous two-wheeler promoter has named it, Bytes versus Oats. We're watching it very closely, but we haven't taken sides. Clearly, the incumbents have advantages around brand, around distribution. But to what extent those incumbency advantages around brand and distribution are long-term sustainable advantages in the EV context, honestly, is not clear to us. And hence, we're watching this from the sidelines rather than taking a position. If specifically on where we are in the auto cycle, as is evident from the heavy goods vehicle numbers, from the three-wheeler numbers, there's actually decent demand pickup. Because of supply side constraints, the cars market is being held back. The demand pickup for auto at this juncture of the cycle is pretty decent, and I'm sure two-wheeler manufacturers will participate in the auto recovery over the next couple of quarters. So I don't have that much concern about the sector from a cyclical perspective, but the structural story on ICE versus EV, I don't think we've got a clear view on it in Marcellus. I think the improvement in asset quality has been fairly uniform across the board. So the banks you mentioned, Prashant, have done well. So have some of our investee companies, whether it's Cholamandalam, Bajaj Finance, HDFC Bank, Kotak. So it's good to see that recoveries have come through, asset quality pressures have abated, and clearly as the economy comes out of COVID, the macro numbers are showing a pretty clear recovery post-COVID. Well-run financial services companies will do well. Where I think the hard part comes, right, and this will become evident over the next couple of years, when the rates start rising, and some states in the next 12 months, I think interest rates will start rising the world over. When rates start rising, that's when I think once again the men will get separated from the boys, the women will get separated from the girls, and that's why we prefer to stay with companies who've shown over the last 10 years that they can really have a strong grip on asset quality through the economic cycle, and hence our positions in HDFC Bank, Kotak Bank, Bajaj Finance, Cholamandalam, Aavas financiers. We prefer to play companies who don't get excited by economic recoveries and then start doing lax lending. Unfortunately, in our country, most lenders do end up getting overexcited and losing credit quality just as the economic recovery picks up, which is exactly this juncture. So great to see the sector improving on the asset quality front, but we will choose to stay with companies who over the last 10 years have shown they can hold their nerve and stick to high quality lending as the economic recovery kicks in, which is the next couple of years really. Right. So as raw material price pressures kick in, the companies that don't have pricing power, right, the companies that have second rung players, don't have the greatest brands, the strongest distribution system, that's where the margin pressures will be most acute. So whether I take a Titan, whether I take a Pidilite, I take an Asian Paints, I take, say, a GMM Pfaudler in our small cap portfolio. A recent addition in our mid cap portfolios is Grindwell Norton. These companies have shown over the last 5, 10, 15 years that they can pass on input cost increases to their clients, to their customers, right? And that's what we really want from a consistent compounder, the ability to not just grow top line in an economic recovery, but also to protect operating margins. And we are very, very confident that these dominant franchises, market leaders, strong pricing power, strong distribution, will be able to benefit from the economic recovery by passing on input cost increases onto their customers. So Asian Paints is a lovely case in point, right? In the first half, they held back on price hikes. As soon as the first half results were done, they have hiked prices. I think they've taken the steepest price hikes ever, and by doing so, they're waiting longer than others. They're waiting to pull market share away. 32% volume growth, I think, in H1 for Asian Paints, and now they've taken the price hikes. They're protecting margins, gaining market share, pulverizing the competition. That's what we like to do in sector after sector. Invest in the market leader and compound by 25% year after year.